Greetings, everyone. Pete Pardo here from Sea of Tranquility. Welcome to another episode of Ranking the Albums. Thanks for joining us on this Sunday morning, at least Sunday morning here in North America. I want to introduce my two co-captains for this episode on a very cool Canadian band, both from Canada, of course, Mr. Martin Popoff and Mr. Guitar Hack. What's going on, guys?
Got my hat going here. There we go.
All right. That's
There
what I
you
like to
go.
see.
There
It's
you
our
go.
Thanksgiving weekend.
Yes, Thanksgiving weekend. Blue Jays are
Yeah.
in the playoffs and doing
Yes.
well, and division series, right? So it's
Yeah.
yeah, this is great. We were just talking how cool it is that the two expansion teams from 1977 are going head to head, the Mariners and the Blue Jays. So that's a very cool thing. First time ever. First time ever.
And we're off to Monday's game, so we're gonna go
There
to
you
that
go.
one. A
Nice,
few of them
nice,
already. So
Nice.
awesome. I look forward to seeing those pictures on social media, Martin.
yeah,
Yeah.
Very cool.
yeah.
So today we're going to be talking about a very cool Canadian band that is fairly newish to me. I've known about them for a long time, but I really didn't start listening to them. I bought their live album like a couple of years ago, and then I just started scooping up their studio records. Martin's been gushing about them for years with me, so I finally decided I need to just take the plunge. And I'm glad that I did. And we decided to invite Hack with us as well, because let's just make it a all Canadian except for me. This almost feels like the UK Connection show, right? I'm always the odd man out, right? Got the two guys from the UK and me. Here we got the two Canadians and me, but we do this once a month anyway on Hack's channel, so I'm pretty used to it. Anyway, the band is Teaze,
Yeah.
and they have been around. They formed in what 1974 out of Windsor, Ontario, Canada,
Windsor
and
Bend.
current and past members of the band include Brian Danter on bass guitar and vocals, Mark Braddock on guitar, Chuck Lambrick on guitar, Jim Bonventry on drums, and formerly in the band, Chuck Price on guitar and Mike Kozak on drums. So again, I'm fairly new to the band. Maybe Martin can give us a little bit more background on these guys, but a very cool hard rock band that did some other things as well. But Martin, what else you have to kind of share?
Sure, I'll try to say a few things without reviewing anything, given that we're ranking them. But yeah, formed in Windsor '74. They moved to Montreal in '77, so they're sort of like April Wine, right? April Wine's considered like a Montreal Halifax band, and then they came back to Windsor. And yeah, just grew up on Detroit rock. They put out an album in '76, an album in '77. By '77, they signed to Aquarius, and then they made the connection. They met Miles Goodwin in Montreal, and Miles recorded their third album for them, One Night Stands. In between, they've got a live album, live in Japan. One of these bands that weirdly got to Japan. You don't expect them. They're quite a baby band to have been able to do that. And they made a really fine live album out of that. And then they had one more, Body Shots, and then they broke up. And same lineup right throughout the whole all the albums. Mark on guitars and Chuck on guitars and Brian Danter lead vocals and bass, and then Mike Kozak drums and percussion. And Brian Danter became a pretty big pastor at like an evangelical church, and did that for a lot of years. And I think that was sort of quelling this band doing more material, getting back together. I think he was conflicted about being in this wild, heavy rock and roll band sort of thing. But they sorted things out, and I suppose there are songs maybe that they just want to play or whatever. I don't know, but as we were talking before, they reformed and started playing live shows. And this guy, he's like 71, 72 years old, Brian, he's just singing so powerfully and high. He's like a Glenn Hughes phenomenon or a Ronnie James Dio situation. He's singing amazingly. And they're playing pretty low key shows in and around, and going to some of the festivals, which did produce this live album recently. This Live at Liege. What year is this? So, anyways, it's recent. And so playing around Ontario, I went down and met up with Rick Labonte, and we went to their reunion show at a theater. They played there in Windsor, and super highly professional show from all parts of it. They had video screens, they had a drum riser, and Brian just singing amazing. The guy's playing great, jumping around. They do have the new guitarist in there because Chuck is the one guy in the band that's kind of pulled back a little bit in the band. But Yeah, Mark's practically the leader of the band on guitar. He's just like a complete firecracker up there. He's really cool. And Brian is just so authoritative on vocals. And yeah, I think they're continuing on to this day, talking about new material and stuff. I think it's going to be pretty high quality when they do it because they've really treated this going back and playing live thing with super quality. So there you go. There's a little history, and hopefully I didn't review anything there.
No, no, not at all. That's good info. Yeah,
As a
I'm looking forward to hearing new music. That would be great.
as a guitar nerd, I gotta say this. Mark Braddock is one of the few guys whose main instrument is an Ovation breadwinner. That's the guitar he played in the 70s, and that's the guitar he's still playing in the 2020s. And if you've never seen one, it's like Ovation is known for making acoustic guitars. He made a couple of solid bodies. This is one of them. It's a weird looking thing, but he makes it sound amazing. I had to throw that in.
Oh, neat.
I'm looking on some of the live shots in these CDs, trying to see if they oh,
Yeah.
there we go. There we go. Yeah, that is a weird
It's
that
a
is
weird guitar, the breadwinner. Yeah.
See what I can find here. Chuck.
that is this one, right, Hack?
Oh, there we go.
That's it.
That's
Yeah,
it.
look at that.
Woo. That's yeah, that is weird looking.
And he's still playing it. Yeah.
Good for him. Good for
Yeah.
him.
That's too bad their tour Japan didn't work out like Cheap Tricks, eh?
Yeah,
Exactly.
really good live album too.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Is
we got
that
four albums in this catalog. We're gonna rank them as we like them, and we'll start off with Hack with his number four, and we'll work our way around a couple times.
Alrighty? So my number four, and I got a feeling I'm not going to be alone here, is Body Shots from 1980. It's their last album, their fourth album. Yeah, that's it right there. Um, this is like basically their new wave album. It's filled with a lot of the production wise, it's very new wavy of the time. It's got a lot of hooks. There's some really good melodic stuff on there. But there's no more blues rock or heavy guitars. Like it's a total rock and roll castration, unfortunately. Um, but there's still some catchy stuff there. The thing is, it's hard to get through the production, and some of it sounds really, really cheesy. And it's hard to get through the production and kind of get to the crux of like the songs because there are some good ones on there. It's like there's a song on there called Roses and Chrome, which sound terrible on body shots, but I watched the video of them playing it live with the guitars up, and it's a great song, and that is a situation in a lot of the songs here. There's a lot of sax. They had sax on a song called "Living on the Edge," which is absolutely terrible. There's a song "Too Bad," which is just bad. More sax. It's like the real cheesy drivel sax. You know what I mean? The stuff you'd hear in a supermarket type of sax playing. It's just not good. So all in all, it's kind of a forgettable attempt. It's a little bit soulless at times. It's like the band reaching for straws, trying to like, you know, break through, and this is like their last thing. It's like they're totally selling out and trying to be this AOR kind of mellow, I don't know, bad version of Hall and Oates. Um, the only redeeming quality is there are some good melodic solos there, but I can see why this album broke up the band. This for me would be like a 2 out of 5. It's just very forgettable, and yeah, I mean these songs were re-recorded, a lot of them, not all of them, but a lot of them with some heavier guitar. They would be good songs because musically it's there, the content is there, the songwriting is there, you know, and just yeah, they just had to be should be re-recorded with some heavier guitars and they'd be better songs. But there you go.
Martin, how about you for number four?
That was an excellent review, Hack. That's a lot of good stuff. I would agree with a lot of that. So yeah, this is one of the very few occasions. I can't think of very many examples of this. I don't know if I can think of a second example of this of a hard rock band trying a new wave direction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very odd, but it's not really throughout. I mean, that girl is definitely just this jumpy, jaunty kind of power poppy new wave thing. Um, and I like what you said, Hack, about how the production you can't get beyond it because the songs. Nick Blagona produced this very badly. It's very boxy and weak sounding, and it's almost like if you had big hard rock production on a lot of these songs, they would come out a little bit more
Yeah.
alive. But they're going for that really tight, frantic little new wavy thing. Living on the Edge is just this ridiculous Bruce Springsteen type pastiche thing with, proper names in it and all that kind of stuff, right? Um, and sure thing, disco funky sort of thing. There's a little bit of ballad stuff. So Too Bad is also this jumpy new wave sort of thing, as is Calling All Nurses. Although it gets heavy, it's got a little bit of that Radar Love beat in it. She's Gone Again is almost like they're trying to, okay, what else is part of new wave? Reggae. So let's make kind of like our Police song sort of thing. So when you talk to the guys, they are really down on this whole thing too. They were sort of consulted too, and you got to change your ways, and this is a cool thing to try. And they were sort of against it. It was never sort of in their nature. And the other thing I want to bring up is that it almost feels like their Trooper direction. It's a little bit like this Trooper Prism. Even though it's the last album and we're into the 80s, it's got this dated sort of poppy, glammy slash new wave kind of thing that you get in this variety of ideas that you get out of band like Trooper at their height. So it feels a little bit like that to me. There's like four on the floor beats, and it's just kind of happy and cheerful and like I say, just twee sounding all throughout. So yeah, record at Le Studio, kind of interesting. But yeah, they were not happy with the whole thing. There's your front cover again. Um, there's your back cover, weird little conceptual back cover, and then on the inside you've got this faux faux book idea with the credits, and then on the other side you've got the lyrics also kind of in a bookish form. Yeah, with the crease in the middle of the page and blah blah blah. So yeah, it's nobody's happy with it, but yeah, I think it's kind of remarkable. I don't know if you guys can think of one, but I can't think of a single band that ever tried to do this new wavy thing. It's a little like a AOR Midwest rock slash new wavy thing. It's not full on, oh, we're becoming a punk band or something like that, but it's you definitely hear it kind of coursing throughout the album. So yeah, very strange.
I think the only kind of comparison I can give is like maybe Todd Rundgren's Utopia going from being a full-on prog band to becoming a new wave band because they kind of did.
Right.
But
Yeah.
yeah, that's really the
Great
only thing I
point.
can kind of think of. But yeah. Well, it's my number four as well. I agree with everything you guys said. I totally agree with Hack. I think the songs are really good. I like the songwriting a lot. If they change the kind of style of a few of these, less funky, less new wavy, put the guitar muscle back in, this is a winner of an album because I really like some of these songs. I mean, they're catchy, they're memorable. But like, and I don't mind Saxon rock music, but like it's overused, I think, a little bit too much. A song that really sticks out for me on this, and maybe Martin, you might have gotten this too. I'm Not Gonna Cry Anymore sounds like a Bomanog era Uriah Heep. I would have rather have heard the whole album in that sort of a vein,
Yeah.
as opposed to a lot of this funk and really kind of like slick stuff that's going on here. But I like it. It's a good album. It's just, again, I would have changed the production style of it. I would have rocked it out a little bit more. I think the songs are there. It's a shame that this is kind of how they went out, right? And I do want to say one thing real quick because it like has been driving me crazy throughout all these last few weeks listening to these albums nonstop. Brian's vocals, he's a great singer.
Yeah.
He reminds me so much of early James Young meets David Byron meets Bernie Shaw from Uriah Heep. If you were to throw those three guys in a blender, that's exactly what this dude sounds like. I'm like, at times,
Nice.
I feel like I'm listening to James circa like 1976 or something. What a voice this guy has. I absolutely love listening to him. So anyway, I just wanted to get that out of the way because
Nice.
it's going to come up. So anyway, that's so yeah, our first pick is I guess body shots from all around. So let's see if now I think we're going to start changing it up a little bit. So Hack, what do
Yeah.
you number three?
And they stopped using the logo, right? They had the logo not on the
Correct.
first album, but they had the logo through the middle, and then
Yep.
they stopped using it for
Yeah,
this.
this is kind of, they were going for this kind of like magazine or book kind of format here. It's like I will say though, they did a really great job on these CD
Yeah.
reviews because this is, very cool looking little
Mhm.
thing here.
That's
All right, Hack, what do you got at number three?
all right. Yeah. So now my number three, I'm going with the debut, first album, 1977. It's a very sort of straight up, meat and potatoes, 70s rock and roll album. It's with and the lyrics are some of the lyrics are pretty funny. So they sound like a bar band that got into a recording studio at this point. They got their songs together. They're very much of the time. They got in the recording studio and they just kind of laid it down. It starts off with rocking with the music. It's a decent boogie rocker. It's got some really good guitar, blues rock guitar soloing. Flames keep growing, almost BTO like. Like the riffs are kind of those kind of simplistic, kind of grunty riffs that most bands were doing at that time. Come on, hold on. That is my favorite song on this. It is amazing. That's got an amazing riff. There's an extended jam that goes on there. My favorite track for sure. They got songs like Believe in Rock and Roll, and that song it's just trying too hard to be an anthem. It's trying too hard to be like a rock and roll all night or, We Are the Champions. It just, I don't know. To me, that's just a little pushing a little too hard. They got Boys Night Out. That's just a silly song. I think it's laughable. The lyrics are all about smashing shit. It's about vandalism. Again, they're trying too hard, to be that sort of party rock and roll band. Hot to Trot. That's kind of catchy. I dig that one. Dirty Sweet Loving for me is just forgettable. That just sounds like filler to me. And then they close the album with Open My Eyes, which is kind of a mellow Christian rock song that really doesn't fit with the rest of the album. It's kind of an odd thing to put on there. I mean, not saying it's a bad song, it just doesn't really belong with the rest of it. But knowing that, Brian went on to be a pastor kind of makes sense that he would write something like this. But it's just an odd placement of it. But this is like a no frills 70s hard rock album of its time. It's a 3 out of 5 for me. It does lack the musical sophistication that is coming, but it's got some really great blues rock riffs and soloing on here. It's a real no frills stripped down rock record. That's how I see this one, and it's my number three.
Cool. Martin, what do you got at number three?
Okay, number three, I've got this can be a little contentious. I know it's probably, I'm pretty sure it's the band's favorite album. I'm going with One Night Stands. So this is their second to last, 1979, produced by Miles Goodwin. I think it's their best sounding album. And they actually all sound good except for the last one. But I remember getting this as a kid and being quite disappointed because it's much less heavy than the other albums. There's my CD of it. I did the liner notes for Rock Candy in this one, and I think what's cool about it is definitely their most accomplished album. Miles Goodwin gets an amazing production job for the guys, probably better than any April Wine album. And it's telling that it's 1979 because I think the closest thing to it is April Wine, Harder, Faster, production wise. Harder, Faster is actually a heavier album than this. And that is their heaviest album. But yeah, it starts with Back in Action, which is just it's almost like as an angry young metalhead, it was a guilty pleasure because I could tell the songwriting was even better, but it is a little melodic and party rocking, but it is such a good song that it's irresistible. Young and Reckless, they're into that Derringer, Aerosmith, funky, disco-y hard rock thing. Everybody thinks they want to try this sort of thing. Heartless World is a big famous song for them. Big, dark, epic. It's got sax in it. Red Hot Ready, it's pretty heavy. That's a good heavy one on here. And through the years, this is sort of like the poppy, kind kind of arpeggiated guitar thing going on in there. Reach Out is also a good rockin' one on here. I can appreciate this album a lot just for how beautiful the guitar tones and the drum tones
Yeah.
are on it. Good and powerful, but the songs are really quite light. Um, it's funny calling the last one kind of like Bad Trooper. This one to me is like good quality April wine, but not the heaviest April wine in the world. It's sort of like first glance April wine, maybe Nature of the Beast April wine. Like I say, not as heavy as Harder, Faster, maybe a little bit of Stand Back in there. Much heavier than Forever for an Hour. The whole world's going crazy. So yeah, very very accomplished album. And again, this goes to that whole theory I have, and I've done a podcast episode on this, how Canada invented hair metal, how in the from 78 through the start of hair metal, there are so many bands setting up this hard AOR kind of direction that you could say is a precursor to hair metal, and this is just a really good quality AOR album essentially. So there you go. That's my number three.
Cool.
All right.
Yeah, for me, this was hard, three, two, and one, because I like all three of these a lot. And, at some point I was just like, all right, something's got to go somewhere. So I'm going to go On the Loose, their second album, and the number three slot from 1978. Kind of a cool album cover and cool back and everything like that.
Very very different from the original, eh?
Exactly. Yeah, with
The
these
original.
reissues, they changed them up a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Oh, they're all quite different. There's your gatefold of it.
yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, inside here you got more cool, live shots. And in fact, there's CD reissues from two separate companies, and the one has all of that artwork, and the other one has this.
To confuse things or jump around, but this is also different from you
Exactly.
just showed too. So
Yeah, exactly. So some good stuff on here. It's gonna have a good time. Opens up, and again, the vocals remind me of James Young so much. It sounds like early, like Styx, that early hard rock and boogie stuff that James Young always sang on the early Styx albums. I got some piano and organ. I like when they throw a little bit of keyboards here and there. They don't overdo it, which is good. Stay Here reminds me of again of Styx, maybe Uriah Heep from the same time. Really melodic sing along chorus. I like that a lot. Ready to Move, killer hard rock. Big riffing, great vocals. Love it. Sweet Misery, that's kind of folky, bluesy, kind of pop, a little bit different. Acoustic guitars and piano, nice vocals. Not one of my favorites, but it's really well done. Never Again reminds me of like heavy metal Sweet. Love it. On the Loose reminds me of Riot, like Fire Down Under era Riot. Love it. Absolutely killer song. Nobody's Fool, a little more commercial. Baby Why Can't You, fast and heavy, memorable chorus. Tonight It's Me reminds me of these guys. Just it sounds like pop rock like Angel or something like that, New England, whatever. And Lady Killer is a complete like metal track. Awesome. Some great stuff on here. I feel bad putting this in number three because it's really good, but that is my number three, and we'll go back to Heck for number two.
All right. Yeah, these are gonna I think everybody's gonna be all over the place with these other ones.
Yeah, well,
Uh,
they're all good.
yeah, they're all good, exactly. Yeah, my number two is One Night Stands. The Miles Goodwin produced record. Fantastic album, man. Starts off back in action. It's got that catchy chorus. That's like for me, that's like a power pop type of track. Young and Restless, funky verse and the rock chorus. It's okay, that one. Heartless World, great song. What the fuck is that sax solo doing in there? That song is screaming for a guitar solo. I'm like, oh man, it comes to that part and you're just waiting for that guitar just to soar, and instead you get that and the sax solo isn't even very good. That song that's a crime. It's screaming for a guitar solo and it's not there. Red Hot Ready, great up-tempo rocker through the years, another catchy chorus with a Styx vibe. I get a lot of Styx vibe from some of their more commercial chorusy songs. Reach Out, great 70s rocker, got a great solo. Now there's a lot of on the guitars, not so much on the rhythms on this record, but on the guitars, there's a lot of like Miles is putting some like phasey kind of wah stuff on it, which I don't know, sometimes it just doesn't work. The guitars just sound the solo they start sounding a little shrill on the solos. It'd be nicer if he just let it let it go on its own. Just play them straight. Um, but it's got a great solo. Then that's the one on that one is not so buried with effects. Loose Change. That song for me is just I don't know. It's a weak spot for me. It's acoustic. It just misses the mark. The closer, Touch the Wind. That's got to be my favorite track on here. It's got that mellow opening. It's got the dynamics. Got the heavy guitars that come in. That's going to be my favorite song. Um, the one criticism, and and I laugh writing it down because I'm so predictable, is that there aren't enough guitar solos. Again, not putting one on Heartless World is a crime. And also, as I mentioned, that too many sort of phasey wah guitar sounding effects on some of the guitars. And but this is a 3.5 out of 5 for me. This is a really, really good record. It's got just enough heavy guitar, it, but it's still melodic. It's catchy. It's got a lot of hooks, sing-along choruses. You know, that's the thing when you're listening to these guys. These guys are world class, man. These guys should have been another Foreigner. They should have been another Journey, another April Wine, because you're listening to this stuff and it's like, man, this stuff is great. For
They're a
what,
good looking bunch of guys, eh? Like that's a great band shot, eh?
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
no, they had it all, man. It's just. But when we're done, I'll talk about because I watched an interview with one of them. They were explaining their theory as to why they didn't make it, but I'll talk about that at the end. But anyways, move on to the next one. But
Cool.
that's my number two.
Mark, what do you got at number two?
Yeah, I just wanted to add as a trivia note, Heartless World, I can't remember how the story of this works, but it was used in some
Yeah.
Swedish or foreign movie, and there's like a video made for it. It's kind of mixes in with the movie. Anyways, it became a pretty famous song for them, and the Spotify views are fairly high on it. And of course, it's late on this live album that they did. It's like third to the last track, and even though it's kind of a long, drawn out, dark ballad sort of thing, but it became kind of their claim to fame kind of thing. So okay, so number two, I've got On the Loose. And to me, this is a Peaks and Valleys album. We loved it as kids. I got this as a new release. I believe this is my introduction to the band. I think I got this before I noticed that there was a debut. The debut is a little more indie. And heck, the debut is actually 76, not 77. So this is 77. That is 76
Oh, okay.
originally. But so you can tell there's like I say, peaks and valleys. Pete, we've done shows about this where there are albums that the good songs are just so good it rises, it raises the quality of the album. And yeah, all of the heavy songs on here, I'm very predictable myself. Hack, all the heavy songs on here, On the Loose, Ready to Move, Baby Why Can't You, and Lady Killer are good technical priesty kind of metal.
Yeah.
Pretty much there, and it's beautifully recorded. It's recorded in Montreal. I don't know who this George Lagios recorded at Tempo Studios, but it's got a really nice sound to it, kind of tight on the mid ranges. Sweet Misery is their other claim to fame. Like that song is like a country ballad, and it became somewhat of a hit in Canada, and it typecast them in the wrong direction, and they can never kind of live that song down. It's kind of their extreme more than words. So that screwed up their career a little bit. And then yeah, there's the cover of "Gonna Have a Good Time Tonight," Vanda Young on here, which is well done. But yeah, a few of these I'm not particularly crazy about, but the peaks are so cool. It's for years it's been my favorite, but I've just made an executive decision and switched them around a little. So there you go. Gatefold, first one on Aquarius. Last thing I want to say is that the reason that I appreciate this band so much, it's just that thing we went through in the 70s where there just weren't that many hard rock heavy metal albums in the world, and this happened to be a band that was kind of doing that. So it's these guys and Moxie, and you can line this album up against the greatest Moxie album, which in my opinion is Riding High, the 77 album. So it's out the same time. Very, very similar sort of careers to these two bands. And maybe I'll do a Doppelganger's History in 5 songs and do these two bands. That's probably a good idea. But yeah, similar to Moxie and as good as Moxie. I'd say even better than Moxie. Maybe Well, Moxie had a really cool dynamic lead singer too, but yeah, this band should have been bigger. Absolutely, they have so much talent in so many directions that they easily could have been a much bigger band.
I'm glad
Yeah,
you brought up the Moxie comparison because when these guys are rocking their hardest, that's who they remind me of quite a
Yeah,
bit. Moxie.
yeah.
yeah.
Cool. All right, my number two, I'm gonna go with One Night Stands. Really like this a lot. Definitely get the Rock Candy remaster reissue. It's really, really good. Back in Action, it's a great anthem to open it up. Um, I like that there on this album, there's a couple of instances where you get these kind of cool, like little like Nugent-y licks. Like Young and Reckless reminds me, there's stuff going on there reminds me of Nugent. Hack, you were talking about Reach Out. To me, that riff sounds like a distant cousin to Cat Scratch Fever a little bit. It's very, very
Yeah.
and I get what you're talking about with the little kind of phasey things happening on some of the guitars, which I don't really mind too much, but it's a little bit different than the rest of the
And
catalog.
Pete, in interviewing those guys, like I believe, if I remember correctly, they do talk very fondly of going to see the Amboy Dukes and the and MC5 and all that because they're in Windsor. So they really soaked up, and that's why they became
Well,
Teaze, is all that cool Detroit rock, right?
gotcha. That totally makes sense. Totally makes sense. I gotta say, Heartless World is probably my favorite song in this entire catalog. It's so good. I
Mm.
mean, it's just I like how it's like kind of like mellow and mysterious, and that big, rampage and riff kicks in. And I agree with you, Hack. It's like it needed a screaming guitar solo.
Yeah.
I don't really mind the sax solo, but it just kind of doesn't belong. And man, Brian is like screaming up a storm at the end of that, and I'm just kind of like, holy shit, this guy is a powerhouse. Like an Ian Gillan would be proud of something like that. Just
Yeah.
really good. To me, that's kind of like their Child in Time song. It's just really, really good. There's a lot of great stuff on here. Touch the Wind is another one of my favorites. That's a big time hard rocker. And I love the twin guitars on that. It reminds me of like Wishbone Ash meets Judas Priest with a little bit of sprinkling of Uriah Heep. I get a lot of Uriah Heep in this band as well, but without the keyboards, obviously, even though the keyboards do show up from time to time. But yeah, great album, great sounding album. This was almost my number one, but I decided to change it a couple days ago. So back to Hack for your number one.
All right. So my number one is On the Loose. Uh, and again, like this, the one and two could have easily flipped, but at this moment, it's On the Loose, and this is a good mix of rockers and mellower tunes. It's amazing, this being their second album, how much improvement in songwriting they went from the first to the second. Like the first one is sort of just, again, like sort of bar band, straight meat and potatoes kind of BTO. And then on the second record, man, they just, what a leap. It's almost like, are these the same guys? Amazing, much improved. Lots of hooks on this, lots of sing-along choruses. Uh, I'm just going to go through the tracks in no particular order. Baby, Why Can't You Stay is my favorite song on here. What a great rocker. Love the guitar on this. That verse is just, it's infectious. It's so catchy. Tonight It's Me got a killer hook chorus. Again, reminds me of Styx. More great blues rock solos on here as well. Mark is a great guitar player, man. Well, I think him and Chuck at the time they were trading, but I think Mark was a primary lead player, but he's a fantastic player. Great party rocker with Gonna Have a Good Time Tonight. Stay Here, another catchy, hooky song. That I mean, that's got radios all over it. Another sing-along chorus, little southern rock feel on that. Ready to Move, that's the heaviest track on here. It's just a really heavy driving song. It's got that really cool change up on the chorus, which just again, that's next level stuff. And then Sweet Misery, yeah, that song is the one that doesn't belong. And like Martin said, that is their extreme what's the extreme song called
More
again?
than words.
More Than Words. Yeah, that's their More Than Words. And I was watching an interview with them, and on their first big tour, when they 60 city tour, I think they were opening for actually April Wine. They would not play that song. So it was on the radio at the time, and they played all these shows, and they did not play that song one time
Hmm.
because they felt that that song, I know it's weird, right? They felt that that song just did not mesh with the rest of their set
Well,
because,
then they shouldn't have put it on the album.
you know, it's a hard driving song, and, people went to see them, and they figured they were going to hear it, and they didn't hear it because we don't want to play because it doesn't match our stuff. Apparently, they were forced to throw that on the record
Yeah.
because at the end of it, it's that thing: we need a hit, we need a hit, we need a hit. So they threw it on. It became a hit, but they didn't play it live with, when they should have, which is when it was, in everybody's ears. And that they say that's one of the contributing factors to why they kind of next didn't
And
go
it
to.
probably wasn't a big enough hit to say, you know what, we can't ignore this. Because like Extreme couldn't ignore more than words, right? Because
No, no.
internationally it was huge. So
Yeah,
maybe this it was a big hit for them, kind of maybe in Canada, but not
yeah.
anywhere else. So it's almost like they're like, all right, we're just going to disown this at this point. Yeah, that is kind of a strange choice, right? But again,
It's like a swing country ballad with a little
yeah,
bit of glam to it. It sounds a
yep,
little bit like one of the really cheesy UK glam bands.
yep, yep,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
But like stay, you mentioned Stay Here. I mean that's that should have been on the radio everywhere.
That's a massive song.
Oh, it's they actually have a handful of those tracks across the catalog that are like head scratchers, how they were never pushed on radio, especially here in the States, right? Because this band was nobody knew who this band was here.
Yeah. Yeah, then we get Never Again. That's okay. Another pop chorus with a heavy verse. On the Loose is another cool driving track. Nobody's Fool is okay. It's an okay song, but the solo in it is killer. And then you got the closer, Lady Killer is a great 70s hard rocker. This is my favorite out of all of them. I mean, this could have been like number one, number two, honestly, could have flipped. But this album for me, man, it's just, I highly recommend these guys. And if you're going to listen to any one of our top three picks, it's well worth your time. There's so many earworms with this band that you go back and you just can't, you go back and re-listen to stuff. And for me, this is my favorite, and it's a 4 out of 5 for me. Killer record, man.
Cool.
Nice.
All right, Martin, talk about the debut a little bit.
Yeah, my favorite is the debut, but I just wanted to remind people that in
Thank you. I
between
was
they
going to
had
ask you
this
to do
great
that.
live album. I mean, look at this thing. It's got it's got the extra page in here. It's all cardboard, so you've got one shot each of the of the guys, right? This great cover. Cool live shot on the back. And it's heavy. This is like their Kiss Alive. This is
I
just
was
a
gonna say
really
that.
infectious, good, heavy,
Yeah.
slamming hard rock live album. So it's a single, and I guess heck, Aquarius is probably a little bit of a problem because you think of, the illustrative effect of April Wine's career. I mean, they kind of it picked up when they got on with Capitol, I guess it was, right? Um, and those albums, at that point they translate over to the States and they have some hits. So yeah, I feel like it was just they never really were properly represented in the States. So going back to the debut, that album cover looks absolutely like it could be a terrible, terrible UK glam album from 1973, right? I mean, that is just
Yeah, this is
screams
this is
glam
much
band.
better. This is much
Yeah.
better.
And look at this. It gets worse. I mean, that is just so UK glam. That just literally looks like an import from from Hello or Pilot or Mud or something like that. Yeah. But I love this record, and the amazing thing about this is that this, if I remember correctly, how this works, this was recorded as a demo, and then the label heard it and said, "No, this is good enough to put out. Let's just put this out," and it just happened really fast. But I think you can appreciate this album more if you think about it. Like the way I was playing it this morning is like I'm listening to these songs and going, these are like the best Kiss songs you could possibly get from that rock and roll over Love Gun era. Recorded way better. These sound just really powerful and big warm guitar tones on it. Yeah, it is a little cheesy rock and roll, so it's a little back to that Kiss feel. But again, it's in there with Moxie 1 or Riding High, not so much Moxie 2. Very heavy for 1976, and it's a Canadian band. But yeah, Boys Night, you know what this reminds me of? It reminds me of the first Stars album. It's very much like that kind of vibe, or Rex. Um, but just really good quality, infectious barroom rock and roll. I wouldn't even call it particularly bluesy rock, but Flames Keep Growing is a little doomy even. But Boys Night Out has got that again, that kind of Radar Love kind of snare thing. I love Hack when you brought up Believe in Rock and Roll and saying it's a little bit like a Rock and Roll All Night. It is like that, or a Let Me Go Rock and Roll. So they do put this boogie rock song on here
Yeah.
that feels like one of those outliers, one of those party rave up sort of songs. Um, but the rest of it's all pretty heavy, rocking with the music, just this incredibly tight, just killer riff going along. So yeah, if this was recorded as a demo, I mean, these guys are super talented because this is a really tight professional album. And I think it's better than the first Moxie album. A lot of Moxie fans will rate that first Moxie album higher than Riding High. I'm more of a Riding High guy, but I think this is their album that is as good as Riding High. And back to that Peaks and Valleys thing. This is a non-Peaks and Valleys album. This is an album where it just uniformly, the arrangements aren't that complicated. They're not wildly off in other directions like they are on the Loose. It's just the whole thing is just this nice kind of like I say, good heavy Kiss Stars type rock and roll speed. So I think it's just a really good album and uncommonly heavy for 1976.
Yeah, I think you took the words out of my mouth on a couple of points here. I also agree. It is very consistent across the board. And yeah, they will go on to do a little bit more varied material starting with the next album. But I like the kind of like simplicity of this album quite a bit. You mentioned a lot of points I was going to hit on. The debut Moxie album. I get vibes of that here. I still get some more Nugent here. I get a little bit of Styx here. I get some early AC/DC here. I get some early Pat Travers on a couple tracks here, like
Yeah.
especially on like Dirty Sweet Lovin'. Reminds me of Pat Travers circa like the first album or two. Open My Eyes sounds to me like Uriah Heep without the keyboards. I get a little bit of James Gang in spots, but I like the simplicity of it. I also get that kind of Styx rock and roll all night vibe, the kind of like that boogie thing going on. Believe in rock and roll. I really like Boys Night Out. I mean, that's a really fun, simple, stupid headbanger, right? It's just I like it. I like it.
It's like a Slade song. Come on,
Totally, yeah.
feel the noise, or
Yeah, yeah.
mama, we're all crazy.
Yeah, it
Just
works.
let me interject something for a second. I mean, this is an indie album. It's on Force One Records, and that's what the label looks like. Hang on, let me
Wow.
I get the light to go away a little bit. It's kind of hard, but there's a picture of the band there.
Yeah,
Maybe.
yeah, you can kind of see
Yeah,
it.
yeah. So, anyways, sorry about that.
And I love the way the guitars are produced on this album. It's just no nonsense. It's a
Yeah.
no nonsense guitar, simple rock album, and I like it. And it is pretty heavy across the board. They would go on to do better things from vocal arrangements and all that sort of thing. But I think Brian sounds like a powerhouse right from this opening album. I think the guitars are blistering, the riffs are killer. I really like it a lot. So yeah, that's going to be my number. But I went back and forth between the top three because I couldn't make a case for any of them being number one. But today I'm going to go with this one. So yeah, you can't go wrong.
Nice.
And Martin, I'm glad you pulled out the live album because I was going to ask you to do that because I think that's a really
Mhm.
good live album and one of those kind of like unknown great live albums from this time period. And crazy enough, didn't they release the live album right after the first album, or was it after the second album?
No, it's after the second one.
Okay,
It's the 78 album, so it's right between the 77 and the 79, right?
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
And
78.
it has the same effect as Kiss Alive does on the first three Kiss records. It makes all those songs sound even better.
yeah, for
Yeah.
sure,
Same effect. Yeah.
for sure. So, anything else to add, guys? Or I mean, I think we it's good that we were all kind of different here. But I think, like I
Yeah.
said, we make the case for really any of these, say for the fourth album as being a number one album in this category.
Uh,
Really good band. So, for folks who have never listened to this band, if you were like me a few months back, dive into these studio albums, especially the first three, because they're really good and well worth
But
it.
I'll add one quick thing. Go to YouTube and watch these guys playing live in recent years and just look at Brian Danter, listen to him sing and realize that, when they started doing this, which I think is a good 4 or 5 years ago now, he was 71 years old. And yeah, you want to see a vocal performance, just go see these guys live on YouTube right now.
Wow. Yeah, sure. So, welcome back, Tease. And if you got another album in the works, can't wait to hear it. That'll be cool. So. Sounds good. All right. Why don't you guys give us some updates on what's going on in your channels and podcasts and things? Martin, what's new over on the Contrarian?
Well, yeah, check out my audio podcast, History in Five Songs with Martin Popoff. I've done the last hair metal album and the last prog album, kind of interesting thought exercises. We got the Contrarians, our video channel, and I've got books wise. There's been a bunch of new stuff lately, and it's all at my website with PayPal buttons. The Big Maiden, the big Deep Purple, the Big Dio, and the updates of the White Snake, Scorpions, Max Webster, and Merciful Fate.
Awesome. Sounds good. Hack, how about you?
Well, I'm gonna do a live
Like how he's
hang.
checking the schedule. There you go. Keep that all
I'm
organized.
looking. October 25th, Saturday. I'm not playing that night, so we're going to be doing a live hangout. So that's a couple weeks away, and then the three of us are back together on October the 30th, doing another panel show, and yeah, that's what's coming up for the month of October. Anyways, there you
Did you get your Rush tickets?
go.
It's a lot of money they're asking for these shows, huh?
You know, it broke my heart, dude.
Yeah,
It broke my heart. I went there and I had, the pre-sales thing and everything else, and I'm looking at it and they're like $500 for 300 level. That's like nosebleeds. And it's like, okay, buy two tickets, this is $1,000. How much do you really want to go to this show?
I know.
Yeah.
That's a lot of people are having the same issue, and myself included. I was very psyched to go to Madison Square Garden to one of those 4 nights, and I'm seeing what these ticket prices are going for. I'm like, yeah, I just can't justify it. I really can't.
Floors were like thousands,
Yeah,
over 1,000. Like, it's funny because I saw them in 2015.
yeah, me
I
too.
think I think I paid, I think it was like $300. I joined like some kind of fan club or whatever. I got a duffel bag with a book in it and all this kind of stuff. I had floor seats for $300 10 years ago. Now they want 500 for me to sit 10 miles away from the band.
Yeah, I hear you. I
I'm
feel,
going to Joe Bonamassa in 2 weeks for less than a third.
of course, yeah.
Right. I'll go see Joe. And
Yeah, I know. It pains me to have to kind of walk from this, but
I can't do it. I
I
can't
can
do
go
it.
to see 3 or 4 other shows for the same amount that I would pay for one ticket for Rush. That's like, it's
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I couldn't rationalize it, man. I was like, because I was like, what?
yeah.
Do it. Couldn't pull the trigger.
Martin, you got to pull some strings, man. Get some complimentary tickets.
I'm staying quiet because I swear if I got a free ticket, I probably wouldn't go. But
What?
if someone foisted one upon me and said you got to come and all this, that I would probably go, but I would probably almost wish I didn't go because I don't know. I'm not that much of a concert guy, and B I've just been so brainwashed by the idea that I can go just watch so many different angles and different shows on YouTube and see everything in the perfect convenience. So it's just, I don't really care. I mean, I'm gonna find out probably by midnight that same day exactly what happened on that
Of
stage,
course, and you'll be
and
able to watch it.
closer
You'll be
and
able to watch
closer, and it'll
it.
sound better,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So yeah, that's a whole show in itself.
It totally is. Yep, I totally hear you. I totally hear it.
Yeah.
So, anyway, folks, if you are a fan of Teaze, rank these albums as you like them down in the comments below. If you've never heard any of them, go check them out. Come back, put down in the comments how you would rank them, and let us know what you think of the band. And we'll see you next time here on Ranking the Albums. 1 week from today, I will have John Gaffney and Rich Catino here in the Zoom. We are going to be ranking the catalog of the great Agent Steel. So more metal next week. Stay tuned for that. For Guitar Hack and Martin Popoff, I am Pete Pardo. Visit us on the web at www.seatranquility.org. We're on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram all the damn time. Have a good rest of your weekend, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.